Lasers? Really? To change the weather?
That's right. Well, as Mark Twain once famously said, everyone complains about the weather, but no one ever does anything about it. Well, instead of doing a rain dance, we physicists are firing trillion-watt lasers into the sky to actually precipitate rain clouds and actually bring down lightning bolts. This is potentially a game changer.
But this is experimental.
It's experimental. However, in the laboratory so far it works. When you have water vapor and you have dust particles or ice crystals, you can precipitate rain. It condenses around the seeds. These seeds can also be created by laser beams. By firing trillion-watt lasers, you rip apart the electrons, creating what are called ions, and these ions act like seeds, like dust particles, bringing down rain and even lightning.
Okay, so hello out there. Well, you can read the title. This is relating to about, well, HAARP to a certain extent, but also any other weather modification facilities that may exist, because it's not the only one. Just as Area 51 isn't the only area that may contain secret technology or alien material. But anyway, there has been a lot that's been said about HAARP or any other weather modification locations, but what I specifically want to focus on, and what I want to focus on in general with my channel, at least in videos like this, which to be honest I'm not sure if I'm going to do a lot more of, because honestly it doesn't seem like it gets a lot of views, and I get it. It's not something that necessarily a lot of people will find, because maybe only some people who are particularly interested in will find it, because YouTube doesn't want stuff like this to actually, well, let alone go viral, but it doesn't want stuff like this to be seen, let's be honest. Not that it would ever take something like this down, but it's pretty clear it's not going to serve it up that much. But anyway, let's get to the point. Basically, this is the idea of how HAARP can actually use radio waves and microwaves to potentially affect the weather. So we have to consider the fact that when you're talking about the upper atmosphere, the stratosphere, and also layers above it, the mesosphere and the troposphere, have different oxygen, different atmospheric densities. Now, what's important about this is that in the description, I have a paper which, well, unless for some reason I can't post it there, but which describes the fact that at very low atmospheric densities, you can actually have a sort of self-focusing effect for microwave pulses, or just for microwaves in general. So this may actually explain a possible thing that HAARP could do, and you couldn't normally do in, well, the atmosphere we have at near sea level. As you can see here, there are atmospheric phenomena above the phenomena in the troposphere. So it's possible that in the upper atmosphere, it's possible to affect those phenomena, which could potentially affect the phenomena in the lower atmosphere, or potentially also any craft that may be flying in the upper atmosphere. Now, one other effect that could potentially be used by weather modification weather modification systems is, it's possible that maybe because of reflection off of the upper atmosphere, that it would be possible to actually amplify the power and the voltage of radio waves and microwaves. Now, this is also important for the upcoming reason. Now, in addition to the fact that you could use potentially upper atmosphere to somewhat focus or to refocus this energy, it's also possible that it may be possible that the air could effectively be ionized by radio waves or microwaves. Normally, this is done with lasers, so you can have and that's kind of concept of the induced plasma channel. but this may be possible with microwaves if the voltage of the microwaves, or the effective voltage in power, is high enough that the energy needed to ionize individual atoms over a given distance is met. Now, this would have to be an extremely high energy level, but I am curious if it's possible that it could potentially be done with any sort of reflection involved. The point I'm getting at here, because it's possible that it could be transmitted to the upper atmosphere and reflected back to the clouds, which would then affect actual weather as a result of this, basically. And again, I don't really see why this is that implausible. And in fact, it's been said by people who have talked about HAARP before that it's possible that by affecting the upper atmosphere, it could affect the lower atmosphere. So let me also just make a general point here as I finish this up. When it comes to stuff like this, I always make a point. I think it's important to focus on the science, or any science and concepts, hard concepts that may be there when talking about this stuff, because that way it won't evolve into a lot of vagueness about what may or may not be going on, which you may not be able to show is going on unless you work there, you go there somehow. So basically, the idea is that it's important that we talk about this stuff so that the mainstream science community and also, well, others can understand what may potentially be going on or what may be possible. I mean, even if you don't believe that this kind of technology can realistically be used for good, it's important to understand it so you know what it can do and how it potentially combat it and deal with it if you have to. So I really do hope, considering that it seems like they're starting to take the whole fact that people are catching on to that there's more going on than they like to say seriously. And I hope that in addition to things I've previously talked about, stuff like this can come more into the mainstream. We can have a serious debate on this rather than just going back and forth with the mostly meaningless political debate that's going on, but that's another issue in of itself. Actually, I might consider doing something on that, except I'm trying not to say anything about political matters. Now, if I did do that, that would be an opportunity for me to actually get a fair number of views, because it seems that YouTube likes to continuously suggest videos that are politically edgy and have a lot of mainstream topics going on, and even if they're very misinformed or misleading. So hey, maybe I should do that, because I wouldn't be surprised if this video doesn't get that many views either. But that being said, if you did watch the video to this point, I appreciate that, and hey, I mean, definitely subscribe, because I do intend to continue doing this. I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's possible that something might come along the way and make me change my mind for some reason, but I care about this stuff, and I care about the truth, and also making the world a better place. So hey, I'm sure a lot of you feel that way too. Anyway, though, I guess that'll be it. Thank you for watching, and take care.